Oh, I got a question. I have a question. What's the new narrative going to be around Jalen Hurts now? What's the new narrative that's going to be around Jalen Hurts right now? I want y'all to like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and share with a friend. It's Real Talk with MJ. Y'all know we always keep it real every single time. We're going to talk about the good, some of the bad, and the ugly. Next round. We'll talk about all of that. So back to what I originally opened this up with. Make sure my mic is in. What is going to be the new thing they say about Jalen Hurts? What's the new thing they're going to say about Jalen Hurts? Because to begin this season, it was the turnovers. He cleaned that up. And then it was his passing yards. Over his past 4 games, he has over 1,000 passing yards. Then the narrative was, oh, well, he's an A.J. Brown merchant. He's only good because of A.J. Brown. Even though he got to the playoffs without A.J. Brown. Even though A.J. Brown, who has always been a very good wide receiver, elevated his game once he got to Philly. Okay. But no, there was still question marks around what can Jalen Hurts do without A.J. Brown? Did we not see what he did without A.J. Brown in this game? Did we not see that 2 dots to Devontae Smith? One for 40 yards, another on a 3rd and 22. Now, Devontae Smith, who I've been saying is a top 10 wide receiver in this game, made a phenomenal catch. But that was in part because Jalen Hurts put it where only Smitty could make that play. I look at Jalen Hurts, 298 total yards, 3 total touchdowns, a 132 passer rating, and what? A W. I'm just trying to figure out what is the next thing. Let me know. Is the next thing going to be, well, he's a Saquon Barkley merchant? Is the next thing going to be he's a Devontae Smith merchant? I mean, I'm going to keep it a bean. I'm going to keep it a stack. I'm going to keep it real. The way that they talk about Jalen Hurts is how they talk about LeBron James. Because it's like with LeBron James, he can't win with anybody. Like, he's got to win with nobodies. It's the same thing with Jalen Hurts. He only gets credit if he can win with nobody. If he can win by me throwing him the ball. But people with brains, people that know the game of football, realize the whole thing with Jalen Hurts was coaching. That was the whole thing. Or maybe I dragged the LeBron comparison. Maybe I dragged that a little bit. A little bit. But it's the same sentiment. That it's like, y'all be expecting this man to go out here and do nothing or do something with nothing sometimes. The key to the Eagles going ahead and winning is Saquon Barkley getting over 20 carries a game. And honestly, it's Jalen Hurts having less than 30 passing attempts. Look, the Eagles aren't going to win if you have Jalen Hurts trying to be this like pocket passer, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott type of guy. That's not him. And hell no, I'm not saying that Purdy or Dak are better than Hurts, but it's saying the coaches have to have a game plan around the skill sets of Jalen Hurts. But wasn't that what I was saying from the beginning of this season? Y'all know, y'all diehard Real Talk fans, y'all know. I've been saying, look, all we got to do is play to the strengths of Jalen Hurts. But then we have these people that want to say, in the beginning of the season, Hurts has regressed. Hurts isn't him. Hurts is a terrible quarterback. Hurts is this, all that. just flat out being disrespectful, not watching the games, just looking at ESPN and saying, all right, this is what Dan Orlovsky has to say about him, and I'm going to just regurgitate whatever Dan Orlovsky is saying. No, if you watch the games in the beginning of this season, after that Packers game, the Eagles had an offensive game plan that did not suit the skill set of Jalen Hurts. We are seeing, since that bye week, an offense that is built around the skill set of Jalen Hurts, which is running the ball. So yes, Jalen Hurts went 18 for 24, 75% completion percentage. Mind you, he has a career high in completion percentage, with A.J. Brown being in and out of the lineup. So I'm just glad that it didn't even take a week for Jalen Hurts to debunk the whole he's an A.J. Brown merchant. It didn't even take a week. Now, look, we got to keep an eye on A.J. Brown, because even though I'm not going to be out here and say that Hurts is a A.J. Brown merchant, I'm not going to be disingenuous and say that this Eagles offense is good without him. I made that mistake against the Falcons, even though I do believe that if Saquon Barkley makes that catch, we're talking about a team that's, 7-1? But I look at it and I say, Jalen Hurts showed up. I look at it, I say, Saquon Barkley showed up. I could have a whole show dedicated to Saquon Barkley. And all y'all on Instagram, I'm going to be on Instagram for like 5 minutes. 5 minutes, then you better bring your ass to YouTube. Bring your ass to either YouTube or Twitch, because we will be exclusively on there. I'm looking at Saquon Barkley. I can make a whole episode on him. 159 rushing yards, 40 receiving yards, a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown. Oh my gosh. I ain't gonna lie, like, I get emotional watching Saquon Barkley. I mean, the icing on the cake was the fact that this man did a move I can't even do on Madden. A backwards hurdle? You can't do that in video games. Never mind real life. I'm like, what the hell is he on, bro? What is he on? Now, I knew that he was good. I knew that Saquon Barkley was going to be a difference maker. I knew that he would have that Christian McCaffrey-esque impact. But I did not think it would be this. I did not think it would be this. He's on another level. Another level. He's been worth every penny. And we're seeing DeAndre Swift with the Bears. I didn't check his stats today, but DeAndre Swift, he's done well with the Bears, I believe. I know he had a slow start, but he's done well. You got Saquon, it's Swift. I'm sorry, it's levels to greatness. You have guys that are very good. You have guys that are great. Then you have superstars. What's a superstar? A superstar is a player that you know their next move and they still do it. They still do it. That's Saquon Barkley. You know you're going to stack the box. You know that he's going to run the ball and you still can't stop it. You still can't stop it. Just like the tush push that we're going to talk about. That we're going to talk about. But I'm on a positive note right now. So we're going to start positive. Then we're going to get into the ugly with Nick Sirianni. Let's talk about Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is a top 10 wide receiver in this game. Top 10. And he proves it time and time and time again. He's him. Y'all said he was too skinny. Heisman. So that it wouldn't translate to the NFL. I mean, he was out here balling in the Super Bowl. Balling. Had a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Devontae Smith. I mean, look, When the Eagles drafted Devontae Smith, I was dancing like it was the end of a cookout. Like you're doing your little line dance. I was dancing because I knew, and I appreciate the Cowboys for trading with us and allowing us to go ahead and get Devontae Smith because the Giants were going to get him. They were going to get him. And I know that the Cowboys, they got Micah Parsons. All right, cool. We don't care. We wanted Devontae Smith, and that was the perfect pick for us. The perfect pick, especially after what's his name, Howie Roseman botched that whole Justin Jefferson, Jalen Reagor thing. We needed to get a stud wide receiver, and we flat out got one. And then Howie made up for that again and traded for A.J. Brown. So look, Devontae Smith is amazing. That catch was simply beautiful. Gosh. I mean, between Devontae Smith and Garrett Wilson's catch, I mean, look, pick them. I know that Garrett Wilson has the whole jump man thing, but pick them. Oh my gosh. Pick them. So we got that. I have to give Jahan Dotson some love. Honestly, with one reception, he had more yards in one reception than he's had all season, I believe. I believe he's had 35 receiving yards all season. And with one catch, he had 36 receiving yards this game. Oh my gosh. And it was a phenomenal catch. Look, especially with A.J. Brown, now we're seeing him being more injury prone. And, I hope that it was just precautionary and all that stuff. I'm losing my voice a little bit. But look, with A.J. Brown being in and out of the lineup, we are going to have to lean on Jahan Dotson. He's got the talent, bro. You're not a first-round pick for nothing, bro. That was a phenomenal catch that he made. Phenomenal catch. So I hope that he can take this into the Cowboys game and build off this confidence because we're not done with Jahan Dotson. We traded a third-round pick for him. A third-round pick. We drafted Nakobe Dean with a third-round pick, and we see how impactful he's been this season. Third-round pick that's a lot of draft capital, bro. And it wasn't just a third-round pick. I think it was like a fifth as well, but we traded, a lot for him. This is not the last that we're going to see of Jahan Dotson, so gotta show him some love. Let's get to this defense, and then we're going to get to this coaching staff. Zach Bond, I want a blank check for him. Monday morning, blank check. Please. Because he has been one of the most underrated signings. I would say top 3, at worst top 5 this season. Because we did not expect for him to be this much of a game changer. Oh my gosh. Talking about 10 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 2 pass breakups, I believe, or passes deflected, and then an interception. Oh, fantastic interception at that. I mean, this linebacking core of Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean this season has been everything that the doctor ordered for the Philadelphia Eagles. Nakobe Dean, let's talk about him real quick. Nakobe Dean, his rookie year, he sat behind T.J. Edwards. We know that T.J. Edwards, 2022, he was a dog. And how we let him go to the Bears, and then it was time for Nakobe to shine last season. Well, guess what? He got injured. Played a couple of games, but never really got to get his footing under him, right? Never really got that. And for y'all on Instagram right now, I'm going to YouTube. Click that link in the bio. Subscribe. I'm on YouTube right now. I'm ending it right now. But Nakobe, he was injured last season. So then let's fast forward to this this offseason. I told y'all in August, I was reading the Philadelphia Inquirer, and Jeff McClain reported that Nakobe Dean rightfully earned the starting spot over Devin White. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I was surprised the fact that Devin White got benched. I was surprised by that because I thought that he would be a starter with this linebacker unit. But I believe the reporting, and I also believed in Nakobe Dean winning that starting spot fair and square. Now, I would say before the bye week, Nakobe, he was a little bit shaky. He was a little bit shaky. I think he was good in run defense, but in pass coverage, he wasn't the best. He wasn't the best. Nakobe Dean, since that bye week, has been lights out. He's been lights out. And this defense has been lights out. And it was amazing to see that what was called a weakness for Nakobe Dean, which was his pass coverage, ended up being what ended the game against the Jaguars. Because Trevor Lawrence is disrespectful. Super disrespectful. Because he's going to throw the ball to the Ernest Johnson in the end zone. I think, let me just check their depth chart real quick. Let me just check the Jaguars depth chart real quick. Trevor Lawrence is so disrespectful that he threw the ball to the Ernest Johnson in the end zone, their third string running back, who Nakobe was guarding, and Nakobe locked him up, caught that, John. Game over. Game over. So keep trying, bro, if you want. Keep disrespecting, bro, if you want. You do dumb things, you're going to win dumb prizes. I think that's the saying. Trevor Lawrence, extremely overrated. Y'all need to talk with Trevor Lawrence. Y'all need to talk about him the way that y'all talk about Jalen Hurts. It's wild to me. Trevor Lawrence was the golden boy of the NFL. Trevor Lawrence was can't miss prospect, the best in sliced bread. What has he really done, bruh? What has he really done? And he's got weapons. He's got weapons. And the game looks way closer than it really was. Way closer than it really was. Because I'm looking at this. All right, it was 28-23. The defense only let up, what, like 16 points? Like 16 points. And it was like in the third quarter, Cuz had less than 100 passing yards. He started to be Dak Prescott, a 32 QBR. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. I worry about him, bro. Trevor Lawrence, I'm going to say it again. The way that y'all talk about Jalen Hurts, keep that same energy towards Trevor Lawrence. The most overrated quarterback in the NFL. Right next to Jordan Love. Right next to Jordan Love. Because for some reason, y'all be already overrating Jordan Love like he's done nothing. He hasn't done anything, bro. He hasn't done anything in this league. And in fact, Jalen Hurts outplayed Jordan Love head-to-head and beat him this year. It's crazy because, yeah, Jalen Hurts, he was bad against the Packers. He wasn't that good. I was on record saying that he was the weakest link on offense. But Jordan Love was actually worse. He was worse. And speaking of Nakobe Dean, speaking of him, Nakobe had an easy pick six where he'll even say it. You know, he caught the ball before he even caught it. Like, he was about to go ahead and get that pick six. But look at the stats. Jordan Love played a terrible game against the Eagles, bro. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, why do guys like Trevor Lawrence and Jordan Love, those guys always get the benefit of the doubt. I'm just confused. I'm just confused by it. Just confused by it. Talked about offense. Defensively, again, Cooper DeJean is amazing. He's amazing. Amazing. Also, Quinyon Mitchell held Brian Thomas Jr. to less than 30 receiving yards. Q Island, baby. Q Island. I love it. Oh, I love it. Now, I know that if he's caught some balls, no diddy, that he would have had this defensive player of the year, rookie defensive player of the year conversation locked up. He would have. But I want Quinyon Mitchell to be a top 2 candidate. And there's a lot of football left. A lot of football left and a lot of opportunities for Quinyon to go ahead and get some picks. I mean, heck, he's facing Dak Prescott twice. He's going to face Daniel Jones another time. I'm looking at this bird's schedule. I mean, he's going to face Bryce Young. Look. I mean, so it's amazing. It's amazing. It's flat out amazing. I love it, man. I love it. Howie Roseman did his thing in this draft class. He did his thing. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean are the goods. You saw it was multiple times that Cooper DeJean locked up Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram, a top 6, top 7 tight end in this game. Cooper DeJean was snapping, bro. He was snapping. And this Eagles defense, since Cooper DeJean has been inserted in the starting lineup, has been a top 5 unit in the NFL. A top 5 unit. All right, let's talk about this coaching staff. Jalen says, we need that man, Ben Johnson. Y'all just bear with me. Bear with me. Nick Sirianni. Let me get his full name. Okay. Nicholas John Sirianni. Can you stop playing with my team like it's Madden? Can you stop? What's your problem? This is the 3rd game this season that you have left points on the board. You just left points off the board, bruh. The 3rd game this season, Nicholas John Sirianni, that you have left points off the board. Let's talk about this real quick. All right, boom. I want a tweet by a guy, a writer for CBS, Jeff Kerr. I like him a lot. I like the content that he brings. He's very insightful. Let's talk about this real quick. Nick Sirianni left 8 points on the board. I'll repeat it again. Nick Sirianni passed up on 8 points today. 8 points. He passed up on a 39-yard field goal because it was a turnover on downs. He passed up on a 42-yard field goal, another turnover on downs. He had a 2-point conversion failure, another 2-point conversion failure. I'm trying to figure out why he keeps leaving points off the board. Why? My only explanation is that he doesn't do anything that we can really see from the outside. Now, maybe like in the locker room with the culture, like he does stuff there. But the only explanation I can think of as to why Nick Sirianni continuously leaves points off the board is because he's trying to show everybody, hey, I'm doing something. Hey, this is me putting my footprints on this game. Dog, stay away, bruh. Stop trying to be the hero, bruh. Stop. If it's 16-0, what's the difference between 18 points and 17 points? What's the difference? It's not really a difference. But what pissed me off the most was the fact that you have the tush push attempt, and you're overthinking too much. It's 4th and inches. Do the tush push, dog. I don't care that they've stopped it. They stopped it on 4th and 1. They didn't stop it on 4th and inches. Run the unstoppable play that we have that only the Eagles can do. It doesn't make sense. Now look, Sirianni, he can leave points off the board against bad teams like the Jaguars, like the Saints. But even against a mediocre team like the Falcons, the Eagles ended up paying for that. And then it's like, we're not using one of the best kickers in the NFL. Now, look, has Jake Elliott been perfect this season? Obviously not. Obviously not. But I look at it and I'm like, we're not allowing him to even warm up for real. We're not. It's like we might use Jake Elliott in the first quarter, maybe. Or the second quarter, maybe. And then the next time we use him, it's for like a 50 plus, a 60-yard field goal. And bro hasn't even warmed up. Because instead of kicking the extra point, you're going for 2. Or instead of kicking a 40-yarder, a 30-yarder, you're going for it. Nick Sirianni is terrible at having self-awareness and realizing what his team needs at the moment. And time after time, it's Jalen Hurts saving his ass. Time after time. It's really annoying at this point, bro. Because I want to be like Nick Sirianni. Hey, since you shaved your head, since the bye week, the Eagles are 4-0. But I would be disingenuous to say, yo, if the Eagles played a better team than the Jaguars, you don't think that leaving them points on the board, off the board, would have hurt us? It almost did. But Nakobe Dean saved us. It almost did. But Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith saved us. So I'm seeing a team that, yes, they may be playing for their head coach. They maybe are. And I'm not going to say that Sirianni has nothing to do with it. He has something to do with it because we have seen a different team since the bye week, really after that Browns game. So I'll give him that. But Sirianni, you can't be the reason why this team doesn't reach their full potential. Your job is to maximize all of the talent that you have. It's not to be the hero. It's not to show everybody I'm this fearless coach and hey, look, according to my numbers, we should go for it. Dog. The Jaguars offense ain't doing nothing. We're not in a shootout. Take the freaking points. Take him. Come on, bruh. Come on. My man Ed said, bro was overthinking like crazy. He was. He was. Hey man, we gonna talk about Avonte Max real quick because oh my gosh, I mean y'all saw my live reaction. I hope y'all did because I was pissed off. Why was he in the game? I gotta look at the film. I gotta read some articles. I'm confused as to why Avonte Max was in the game late in the end. Like Avonte Max gives me James Bradbury vibes. It's like, bro, every time you're in, you always mess up. Whether you're being cooked or it's past interference, it's always something, bruh. Why? Ever since Cooper DeJean has been inserted in the starting lineup, it's been a different team. So I would like for us to keep it that way. Please. And yes, they were targeting Isaiah Rodgers for a little bit in that fourth quarter. But Isaiah Rodgers, when he was needed most, he ended up standing his ground. Because I know for a fact they were in that huddle saying, yo, we're not going to go after Quinyon Mitchell. We're gonna go after Isaiah Rodgers. And look, Isaiah Rodgers stood tall, stood on business. But Avonte Maddox did not stand on business. Avonte Fortnite Maddox. That's what killed me. It's like, all right, bro, not only are you out here getting cooked every time, not only are you out here getting PIs every time, but then now it's like we getting cooked by the Buccaneers, and you talking to Mike Evans about Fortnite. And it's the rookie that the future Hall of Famer was saying, oh, yeah, he got the juice. I'm sorry, bruh. Unless somebody's injured, I don't want to see Avonte Maddox in. I think Avonte Maddox, he has he has value. He has value in practice. He has value in the locker room. He's a leader. He's been there, done that for several years. I think Cooper DeJean can learn from Avonte because when Avonte was in his prime, he was nice. But clearly we have seen the Avonte Maddox that we know for real, nah. That's long gone. That is long gone. Nick Sirianni is definitely a player's coach, but the big thing with him, he's not the best in terms of X's and O's, and the team is winning in spite of him, not because of him. 100%. 100%. Thank you, Ed. You know what? I'm gonna like create some sound effects. Maybe I can. I'm gonna create some sound effects because I'm like, dog, hand clap, Ed. Because look, ultimately, this Eagles team is winning in spite of Nick Sirianni. They are. Because now this is the third game out of 8 where Sirianni has left multiple points off the board. Just take the points. It's like, are you getting a rush, Nick? A rush? A thrill of going for it? Do that on Madden on your own time. Play with the Eagles on Madden and get your rush that way. But don't get the rush in real time. It's real life. You can't restart the game, bruh. You can't do that. Because guess what? The Jaguars had a legit chance to win this game. Give me PTSD. Give me flashbacks of what happened against the Falcons when you once again left points off the board. We don't need that. And we got bailed out because Trevor Lawrence is not him. He's not that guy. And he tried to test Nakobe Dean with their third string running back. Talk about disrespect. Talk about disrespect. I think Saquon is more impactful to the Eagles than Henry is for the Ravens. That's hard to. Y'all know I got my Eagle stuff on. I do. The thing is, though, the Ravens' defense is so bad, they need everything that Derrick Henry gives them. Everything. Because against good quarterbacks, good or elite quarterbacks, they're going to be in shootouts every time. I mean, it was a couple of balls that Bo Nix flat out overthrew. Marlon Humphrey getting cooked. And so I would say that the Ravens need Derrick Henry more because of how bad their defense is, because they have to be in shootouts. Now, again, today they blew out the Broncos. But look, against good teams, they be in shootouts. With the Eagles, it's like this defense is top 10 in the NFL. It's top 10. And they're a very good red zone defense. And lately, they've been causing some turnovers. So it's like if we had a DeAndre Swift or we had, a very good running back, do I think we would be this prolific as an offense? No. But I think, we wouldn't be good. We wouldn't be good. Like both players are amazing. Both are amazing. But I just think because of the Eagles defense being better than the Ravens defense, and because of the weapons Hurts has with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, I gotta be unbiased, and I'll give it to Derrick Henry because he's the front runner for Offensive Player of the Year. He's been going crazy. He's been snapping. But look, those two guys are top two in terms of Offensive Player of the Year. It's a two-man race. And it's not over. Yes, Derrick Henry is the big favorite right now. But look, let's look at this Ravens schedule real quick. Because look, they still got a hard division. The Ravens got to play the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals defense sucks, so that might be a big game for Derrick Henry. They got to play the Steelers, the Chargers. The Steelers have a good defense. The Chargers have a good defense. Obviously, the Eagles, the Giants, Steelers, Texans, Browns. So I think the Ravens' schedule is a little bit harder than ours. Moving forward, I think the Ravens and Eagles game could decide who wins Offensive Player of the Year. If Derrick Henry has a huge game and the Ravens win, it's locked up. He's going to win. But I think if Saquon Barkley goes out here and has a virtuoso, an all-time great game against the Ravens, who have been a very good rushing defense this year, not a pass defense, but a rushing defense. If Saquon Barkley goes out here and has a career game, that could turn the tide. Especially if the Eagles go out here. I'm looking at their schedule, and look, they could be out here. Look, I'm going to try to, let me see his drum real quick, bro. Let me see his real quick. The Cowboys next, the Commanders next, the Rams, the Ravens. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 games left. Out of those 9 games, I see 2 losses max. So we're talking about an Eagles team that could end this season 13-4. 13-4. That could very well get them the number 1 seed. Now, if they're the number 1 seed, I feel like you got to give the edge to Saquon Barkley. I know Derrick Henry's been on a crazy run, but I would give the edge just because of like his impact on this team has been greater, and I'll give that to Saquon if the Eagles get that number 1 seed. But the Lions today, I mean, I'm looking at their game against the Packers. People was like, oh, Jared Goff this, Jared Goff that. He not this, he not that, whatever the case may be. I mean, look, 89 QBR. He outplayed Jordan Love. You got to give credit where credit's due, man. 18 and 22. Come on. Got to give credit. So that's what that is there. That's what that is there. Again, shout out Josh Sweat. Let's get back to the Eagles. Shout out Josh Sweat real quick. Shout out Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat had his best game this year. 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits. He's been snapping. He's been snapping. Since that bye week, we have seen Josh Sweat turn up. Turn up. And look, my favorite celebration outside of the Hurts shrug has got to be that Josh Sweat jump. Oh my. That's a cold celebration. That's so cold. Ain't that joint? It's tough. Yeah, don't say I'm munching. I feel like that joint tough. I feel like that joint tough. Josh Sweat was very impactful today. Nakobe Dean was very impactful. Brandon Graham, pass deflection. Like Jalen Carter had a good game. Yeah, man. This Eagles defense has shown up since the bye week. You have to give Vic Fangio credit. You have to give Vic Fangio credit, man. Got to give him some credit. So that's what that is there. I feel like I'm missing something. I'm missing something right now. I'm missing something. Shout out Fred Johnson. Look, did Fred Johnson have the best game? Not the best game. Not the best game. I mean, you know, Josh Hines Allen was snapping. He did snap because I'm looking at Hurts. I mean, he took 3 sacks. Josh Hines Allen, I believe he had 2 sacks today. So he snapped. I'll give him that. But the thing about Fred Johnson, though, he makes winning plays. And he puts his body on the line, dog. On that Hurts run, he wouldn't have got that run if it wasn't for Fred Johnson, being one of those lead blockers, helping him out. And actually, he ended up getting a little bit dinged up on that play because, I mean, look, the defensive back on the Jaguars went right for his legs, right for him. Because he was like, all right, you this big, I got to go down low. Pause. But facts, though. Hey, look, he put his body on the line. He's a warrior. He came back. Man, I feel like he has filled in valiantly for Jordan Mailata. Valiantly. So we got to give him some credit. It's a Nolan Smith. Yeah, what happened with Nolan? He didn't pop out today. Did he? I gotta go ahead and rewatch the film. Where would you rank Devontae Smith as a wide receiver 2 in the NFL? He's number 1. Number 1. Especially with Chris Godwin or being out. I mean, he's number 1. 2 at worst. But I feel like it's a debate. I would give Chris Godwin the edge just because he's done it for longer and he has a chip. And I'm not gonna disrespect him. I feel like Chris Godwin is one of them when healthy. But right now, what wide receiver 2 am I picking over Devontae Smith? Who? I mean, look, we got Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. Pook is nice. Pook is nice. Pook is nice. I still if it's Devontae and Cooper Kupp, I like Devontae. I like Devontae. I like Devontae. Also, keep in mind, what if Devontae Smith had Sean McVay calling his plays? We gotta take that into account, right? So we gotta take into account the fact that Devontae Smith makes superhuman, superhero plays with an offense that benefits off strictly talent. Now, Kellen Moore has done better since the bye week, but let's not act like this is an offense like the Rams, where they have a coach that is strategically putting them in positions to be successful and not just relying on talent. And I'm not trying to knock Kellen Moore or something crazy, but the facts are, who you picking? Sean McVay or Kellen Moore? Come on. Come on. Come on. So I think ultimately he's the best wide receiver 2 right now. I mean, Jalen Waddle, I'm not picking him over Devontae Smith. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm not. I'm just not. I'm just not. It's not. Good player. Not trying to salt him too much, but not over Smitty, bro. Not over Smitty. And time after time, Devontae Smith shows that if he didn't have the teammate of A.J. Brown, who's a top 3 wide receiver in this league, he would be the wide receiver 1 on most teams in this league, bro. On most teams. Just saying. If y'all got any more questions, drop them down below before I head off this, John, and start editing this content. Get it for y'all, man. Anthony says, honestly, I think one of our weakest positions right now is tight end, and Goddard, not bad, maybe top 7. Dallas got top 5 tight end in this game. Top 5. Obviously, you got Travis Kelce. I mean, you got to just give that respect. Even though in the regular season, is Kelce top 5? I mean, he's probably top 5. He's probably top 5. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm giving Kelce that respect based off of what he has done in the playoffs and what he has done in his career. But like game in, game out, regular season, he's not what he once was. Playoffs, different story. They're different story. You got George Kittle. George Kittle he's over Doug Goddard. I don't want to miss nobody. I really don't. I think Evan Ingram's up there. I would rather have Goddard over Ingram, because Ingram, he don't pass block for real. Or he don't run block for real. He's more like a receiving tight end. Like, that's all he do for real. That's all he do for real. I like Goddard over Mark Andrews. I like Goddard over Hunter Henry. I'm trying to think, bro. Like, outside of Kittle, please give me a name, because I really don't want to. I'm gonna clip this, and I don't want to get cooked by everybody. I'm trying to think, like, am I missing anybody? I feel like I'm missing somebody, and it's I'm looking at this. Kyle Pitts, no. Sam Laporta, no. TJ Hawkinson, nah. I'd rather have Goddard. So the only guys I can definitively say is over Dallas Goddard is George Kittle and Travis Kelce. Yeah, I wouldn't say Mark Andrews. Heck nah. Kincaid, nah. Kincaid's nice, though. Kincaid's nice. I wouldn't put him over. Nah, I wouldn't put him over. But I mean, look, Njoku's nice. I still wouldn't put. Njoku is nice. He is nice. I think that's a debate. That's a debate, because he's had terrible quarterback play. Terrible. So it's a debate. I think He's definitely top 5, though. Like, I can't name 5 tight ends over Dallas Goedert. The problem with Goddard is, like, he don't be healthy. But I'm glad we got Grant Alcantara because he continues to show up in the absence of Dallas Goedert. 5 receptions, 30 yards. Look, he's having a career year right now. You feel me? So I got to give him credit. Against the Bengals, he had 58 receiving yards. Against the Browns, he had 67 receiving yards. So look, Jalen Hurts, he trusts Alcantara now. He trusts him now. So even in the absence of Dallas Goedert, we are still being effective. So I like that a lot. Cool. This will be my last question I answer before we log off. What are the biggest surprises of the current season so far? All right, the biggest surprises. Number 1, the biggest surprise for me, I can't even, what I say, Saquon Barkley, because I've said that Saquon would do this, like have a big impact. I didn't think he would do this, but I thought that he would have a big impact. I'm trying to think, bro. I'm really trying to think. I think a big surprise has been the linebacking room. If I can, you're talking about like just in the NFL totally? I'll say the Eagles first, and then I'll say the NFL real quick. I'll do that. So I'll say the Eagles first. For the Eagles, the biggest surprise has been that linebacking room. Now, I believed in Nakobe Dean, but that's only one guy. And I will say that although I was high on Nakobe Dean, he has played out his mind since the bye week. And let me not even say out his mind, because I always knew he had this ability, but I think just this linebacking room itself has been my biggest surprise. The addition of Zach Bond has been amazing to complement Nakobe and to relieve some pressure off him. I think that's been my biggest surprise, as well as the Eagles' red zone defense. The red zone defense. And I'll just say another one is Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. Now, look, I was a big Kool-Aid McKinstry guy. And, he's been balling. I think he's been hurt, but he's been balling when he's been in. But I did not think Quinyon and Cooper DeJean would be this good. And I'm looking at this. I'm like, all right, we have 2 building blocks for the next 10 years. All right, next 6-7 years. For real. And Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. So those are my biggest surprises. Biggest surprise in the NFL totally? That's a good question. It's a good question. I would say the Commanders, but I believed in Jaden Daniels. Like, I was praying for the Bears to pick Jaden Daniels because I did not want to face that brother twice a year. I didn't. So I think the Commanders as a whole have been very surprising, for sure. I think also the Cowboys, look, I did not have them making the playoffs. I didn't. But I'm looking at them, I'm like, dog. They are ass. They are ass. Like, y'all, the Cowboys are ass. Dak Prescott, ass. My goodness. They're not going to win more than 8 games this year. And it's a reason why I said this season I'm more fearful. I have my eye more on the Commanders and what Jaden Daniels is doing more than the Cowboys and what Dak Prescott is doing, bruh. Look, that's who we got to have our eyes on. It's not the Cowboys no more. Because Dak Prescott isn't mobile. They have no running game. And as long as Jerry Jones is their GM, they'll forever be a poverty franchise. Not poverty in, how much they're worth, but poverty in just how they operate, what their team culture is. Ultimately, I mean, look, they ass. You know it's bad when the quarterback who was trying to say, hey, don't hop on the bandwagon after they, went ahead and lost early on in the season. And now he's like, we effing suck. I'm like, yeah, no duh, Sherlock. You think? So that's what that is there. But man, oh man, I'm happy. There's a lot of things the Eagles got to fix, but it's with their coaching staff. And this is my last point. The biggest takeaway from the Eagles and Jaguars game is the fact that it wasn't the offense that wasn't up to par. It wasn't the defense that wasn't up to par. I think the offense had a damn good game. You're talking about they're without Jordan Mailata. They're without A.J. Brown for majority of the game. And they still dropped 28 points. Saquon Barkley went off. Jalen Hurts went off. Devontae Smith went off. Jahan Dotson had a highlight. The defense. Cooper DeJean went crazy. Quinyon Mitchell held Brian Thomas Jr. in check. This linebackers with Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond, they had a pick each. Josh Sweat out here, 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits. This defensive line was dominant. The defensive line held the Jaguars to how many rushing yards? 60. Offense and defense did their job. Who did not do their job? Nick Sirianni. And I don't like crapping on the guy because I do believe that the Eagles players really do like him. And I do believe ever since Sirianni had that meltdown where they barely beat the Browns and he's, out here talking crazy to fans and he got called out on all sports media platforms all that week. I do believe that the team rallied around him and was like, yo, it's kind of like that friend that y'all be talking about him like in the group, but nobody else can talk about him outside of it. We all have that friend. I'm sorry. We all have that friend that like in the group, we're like, all right, here he goes again. You might call him a nut to one of your friends in the friend group, right? You might, but it's in-house. But you won't dare let anybody else outside the group talk bad about that friend. I feel like that's what the Eagles are with Sirianni. It's like they like him. They do see him and be like, you a nut, but at least you are yourself. And they respect that. So I got to give him credit there. And he doesn't throw the team under the bus. He takes accountability. I think that's a very, very valiant thing, a very, very respectful thing. For sure. I think it is. But ultimately, yes, the team can like you. Yes, the team can respect you. It can. But you cannot continuously put this team in bad positions. You can't. You can't be the weakest link on this team. It can't be the head coach. Maybe the weakest link is special teams. Maybe the weakest link is defense. Maybe the weakest link is offense. But what cannot happen is the weakest link be the head coach. That cannot happen. It cannot happen. So Sirianni, get your stuff together. Get your stuff together. Because we got a game against the Commanders in 2 weeks. I don't care about the Cowboys. We got a game against the Commanders in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. You can't be leaving points off the board against good teams, dog. You can't. Because we have gotten away with this sometimes against the Saints, against the Jaguars, but even against the Falcons, who aren't even any world beaters, we saw your decisions to go for it and act like it's Madden came and bit us in the ass. So please, 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 just be better. Be better. Real talk with MJ. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Nah, man, we not getting blown out. We not getting blown out. We are not getting blown out. Don't do that. Don't do that. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And look, gonna have some Sixers content. And look, it's Tuesday, November 5th. Kamala Harris all day. Kamala Harris all day. And that's real talk. We out.